If you happen to have read another book about Christopher Robin, you may remember that he once had a swan. Or the swan had Christopher Robin. I don't know which. And that he used to call the swan Pooh. That was a long time ago, and when we said goodbye, we took the name with us, as we didn't think the swan would want it anymore. Well, when Edward Bear said that he would like an exciting name all to himself, Christopher Robin said at once, without stopping to think, that he was Winnie-the-Pooh. And he was. So, as I've explained the Pooh part, I will now explain the rest of it. You can't be in London for long without going to the zoo. There are some people who begin the zoo at the beginning, called way in, and walk as quickly as they can past every cage until they get to the one called way out. But the nicest people go straight to the animal they love the most and stay there. So, when Christopher Robin goes to the zoo, he goes to where the polar bears are, and he whispers something to the third keeper from the left, and doors are unlocked, and we wander through dark passages and up steep stairs until at last we have come to the special cage, and the cage is opened, something brown and fur, and with a happy cry of, "Oh, bear!" Christopher Robin rushes into its arms. Now this bear is Winnie, which shows what a good name for bears it is. But the funny thing is that we can't remember whether Winnie is called after Pooh or Pooh after Winnie. We did know once, but we have forgotten. I had written as far as this when Piglet looked up and said in his squeaky voice, "What about me?" "My dear Piglet," I said, "the whole book is about you." "So it is about Pooh," he squeaked. You see what it is. He is jealous because he thinks Pooh is having a grand introduction all to himself. Pooh is the favorite, of course, there's no denying it, but Piglet comes in for a good many things which Pooh misses, because you can't take Pooh to school without everybody knowing it. But Piglet is so small that he slips into a pocket where it is very comforting to feel him when you're not quite sure whether twice 7 is 12 or 22. Sometimes he slips out and has a good look in the ink pot, and in this way he has got more education than Pooh. But Pooh doesn't mind. Some have brains and some haven't, he says. And there it is. And now all the others are saying, "What about us?" So perhaps the best thing to do is to stop writing introductions and get on with... Here is Edward Bear coming downstairs now. Bump, bump, bump on the back of his head behind Christopher Robin. It is, as far as he knows, the only way of coming downstairs. But sometimes he feels that there really is another way. If only he could stop bumping long enough to think of it. And he then feels that perhaps there isn't. Anyhow, here he is at the bottom and ready to be introduced to you, Winnie-the-Pooh. When I first heard his name, just as you were going to say, but I thought he was a boy.
So did I.
Then you can't call him Winnie.
I don't.
But you said...
He's Winnie-the-Pooh. Don't you know what "the" means?
Ah, yes. Now I do. And I hope you do too, because that's the only explanation that you're going to get. Sometimes, Winnie-the-Pooh likes a game of some sort when he comes downstairs, and sometimes he likes to sit quietly in front of the fire and listen to a story. This evening...
What about a story?
What about a story?
Could you very sweetly tell Winnie-the-Pooh one?
I suppose I could. What sort of stories does he like?
About himself, because he's that sort of bear.
Oh, I see.
So, could you?
I'll try. Once upon a time, a very long time ago, about last Friday, Winnie-the-Pooh lived in the forest all by himself under the name of Sanders.
What does under the name mean?
It means he had the name in gold letters over the door, and he lived under it.
Winnie-the-Pooh wasn't quite sure.
Now I am. Then I will go on. One day, when he was out walking, Winnie-the-Pooh came to an open place in the middle of the forest. and in the middle of this place was a large oak tree. Tree, there came a loud buzzing noise. He sat down at the foot of the tree, put his head between his paws, and began to think.
That buzzing noise means something. You don't get a buzzing noise like that, just buzzing and buzzing, without its meaning something. If there's a buzzing noise, it's because someone's making a buzzing noise. And the only reason for making a buzzing noise that I know of is because you're a bee. And the only reason for being a bee that I know of is making honey. And the only reason for making honey is so as I can have some.
So he began to climb the tree, and he climbed, and he climbed, and he climbed, and as he climbed, he sang a little song. It went like this.
Isn't it funny how a bear likes honey? Buzz, buzz, buzz. I wonder why he does.
Then he climbed a little further, and a little further, and just a little further. By this time, he had thought of another song.
It's a very funny thought that if bears were bees, they'd build their nests at the bottom of trees. And that being so, if the bees were bears, we shouldn't have to climb up all these stairs.
He was getting very tired by this time, and that is why he sang a complaining song. He was nearly there now, and if he just stood on that branch, crack!
Oh, help!
As he dropped 10 feet below onto the next branch.
If only I hadn't.
As he bounced 20 feet onto the next branch below.
See what I meant to do.
As he turned head over heels and crashed onto another branch 30 feet below.
What I meant to do.
As he slithered very quickly through the next 6 branches.
It all comes, I suppose.
As he said goodbye to the last branch, spun round 3 times, and flew gracefully into a gorse bush.
It all comes of liking honey so much. Oh, help!
He climbed out of the gorse bush from his nose and began to think again. And the first person he thought of was Christopher Robin. So Winnie-the-Pooh went around to his friend Christopher Robin, who lived in another part of the forest behind a green door.
Hello, Christopher Robin.
Hello, Winnie-the-Pooh.
I wonder if you've got such a thing as a balloon about you.
A balloon?
Yes. I was just thinking to myself coming over here. I wonder if Christopher Robin has such a thing as a balloon about him.
What do you want a balloon for?
Honey.
But you don't get honey with balloons.
I do.
Which one would you like?
It's like this. When going after honey with a balloon, the great thing to do is not let the bees know you're coming. Now, if you have a green balloon, they might think you were only part of the tree and not notice you. But if you have a blue balloon, they might think you're only part of the sky and not notice you. The great question is, which is most likely?
But wouldn't they notice you under the balloon?
They might, or they might not. You never can tell with bees. I think I shall pretend to be a small black cloud.
Then you better have the blue balloon.
And so it was decided. Well, you both went out with the blue balloon, and Christopher took his gun just in case. And Winnie-the-Pooh went to a very muddy place that he knew of and rolled until he was black all over. And then, when the balloon was blown up, as big, and you and Pooh were both holding on to the string, you let go suddenly, and Pooh Bear floated up into the sky and stayed there, level with the top of the tree and about 20 feet away from it.
Hooray!
Isn't it fine? What do I look like?
You look like a bear holding a balloon.
Not like a small black cloud in a blue sky?
Not very much.
Oh, well, perhaps from up here it looks different. And as I say, you never can tell with bees.
There was no wind to blow him nearer to the tree, so there he stayed. He could see the honey, he could smell the honey, but he couldn't quite reach the honey. After a little while, he called down to you.
Christopher Robin? I've been thinking. I think the bees suspect something.
What sort of thing?
I don't know, but I think they're getting suspicious.
Perhaps they think you're after their honey.
It may be. You never can tell with bees.
The bees were still buzzing as suspiciously as ever. Some of them indeed left their nests and flew all round the cloud, and one bee sat down on the nose of the cloud for a moment and then sat up again.
Christopher, Robin,
Yes?
I've been thinking, and I've come to an important decision. These are the wrong sort of bees.
Are they?
Quite the wrong sort. So I would think they would make the wrong sort of honey, would you?
Would they?
Yes. I think I shall come down.
How?
Winnie-the-Pooh thought about this. If he let go of the string, he would fall. Bump. And he didn't like the idea of that. So he thought for a long time.
Christopher Robin, you must shoot at the balloon with your gun. Have you got your gun?
Of course I have. But if I do that, it would spoil the balloon.
But if you don't, I shall have to let go, and that would spoil me.
Christopher hit the balloon, and the air came slowly out. And Winnie-the-Pooh floated down to the ground, but his arms were so stiff from holding on to the string of the balloon all that time that they stayed straight up in the air for more than a week. And whenever a fly came down and settled onto his nose, he had to blow it off. And I think, but I am not quite sure, that is why he was always called Pooh. Daphne, dear, could you bring me some tea? I have so many ideas in my head. Yes, dear, could you just bring it down, please? Just put the kettle on for me. Thank you so much, darling. Oh, boy.
Is that the end of the story?
That's the end of that one. There are others.
About Pooh and me?
And Piglet and Rabbit and all of you. Don't you remember?
I do remember, but then when I try to remember, I forget.
The day when Piglet and Pooh tried to catch the heffalump.
They didn't catch it, did they?
No.
I do remember, only Pooh doesn't very well, which is why he likes having it retold to him again. Because then it's a real story, not just a remembering.
That's just how I feel.
I didn't hurt him when I shot him, did I?
Not a bit. Pooh was walking through the forest one day, humming proudly to himself. He had made up a little hum that very morning as he was doing his stoutness exercises in front of the glass. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la, as he reached up as high as he could go, and then tra-la-la, tra-la, oh, help, as he tried to reach his toes. After breakfast, he had said it over and over to himself until he had learnt it off by heart. And now he was humming it right through properly. It went like this. La la
Tra-la-la, la, tra-la-la, rum-tum-tum, diddle-tum, diddle-diddle, 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 tin-diddle, rum-tum-tum, diddle-lum.
Well, he was humming this hum to himself and thinking along gaily, wondering what everybody else was doing and what it felt like being somebody else, when suddenly he came to a sandy bank, and in the bank was a large hole.
Now, if I know anything about anything, that hole means rabbit, and rabbit means company, and company means food, and listening to me humming, and such like. Is anyone at home? What I said was, is anyone at home?
Oh, you needn't shout so loud. I heard you quite well the first time.
Father. Isn't there anyone home at all?
Nobody.
Hello, rabbit. Is that you?
No.
But isn't that rabbit's voice?
I don't think so. It isn't meant to be.
Oh. Well then, could you kindly tell me where Rabbit has gone?
He has gone to see his friend Pooh Bear, who is a great friend of his.
But this is me,
What sort of me?
Pooh Bear.
Are you sure?
Quite sure.
Oh, well, then come in. You were quite right. It is you. Glad to see you.
Who did you think it was?
Well, I wasn't sure. You know how it is in the forest. One can't just have anybody coming into one's house. One must be careful. What about a mouthful of something? Honey or condensed milk with your bread?
Both. But don't bother about the bread, please.
Ah. Ah. No.
I must be going.
Oh, must you?
I mean, I could stay a bit longer.
As a matter of fact, I was going out myself directly.
Oh. Well, goodbye.
Well, goodbye. If you're sure you won't have any more.
Is there any more?
No, there wasn't.
I thought not. Well, I'll be going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, grandfather!
Oh. Hello. Are you stuck? Here, give us a paw.
You're hurting!
The fact is, you're stuck.
It all comes of not having front doors big enough.
Oh, it all comes of eating too much. And I thought I'd say something at the time, only that one of us was eating too much. And I knew it wasn't me. Well, I shall go fetch Christopher Robin.
Silly old bear.
I was just starting to think that Rabbit might never be able to use his front door again, and I should hate that.
So should I.
Use his front door again? Of course he'll use his front door again.
Ooh, good.
If we can't pull you out, then we'll just have to push you back in.
Ooh.
Oh, no use. I'm never getting out.
That's it. There's only one thing to be done. We shall have to wait for you to get thin again.
How long does getting thin take?
A week. I should think.
But I can't stay here for a week.
You can stay here all right. Silly old bear. It's getting you out which is so difficult.
We'll read to you. And I sure hope it won't snow. I say, old fellow, you're taking up a good deal of room in my house. Do you mind if I use your back legs as a signpost? Because, I mean, look at them. They're just doing nothing. And it would be very convenient.
For a week. What about meals?
I'm afraid no meals because of getting thin quicker.
Then would you read a sustaining book, such as would help and comfort a wedged bear in great tightness?
So for a week, Christopher Robin read that sort of book at the north end of Pooh, and Rabbit hung his sign on the south end. And in between, Pooh felt himself getting slenderer and slenderer. And at the end of the week, Christopher Robin said, "Now!" So he took hold of Pooh's front paws, and Rabbit took hold of Christopher Robin, and all Rabbit's friends and relations took hold of Rabbit, and they all pulled together. And for a long time, Pooh only said, "Oh," and "Oh," and then, all of a sudden, he said, "Pop," just as if a cork were coming out of a bottle. And Christopher Robin and Rabbit and all Rabbit's friends and relations went head over heels backwards. And on top of them came Winnie-the-Pooh, free. So, with a nod of thanks to his friends, he went on with his walk through the forest, humming proudly to himself, But Christopher Robin looked after him lovingly and said to himself, "Silly old bear." The piglet lived in a very grand house in the middle of a beech tree. And the beech tree was in the middle of the forest. And the piglet lived in the middle of the house. Next to his house was a piece of broken board which had "Trespassers W" on it. When Christopher Robin asked the piglet what it meant, he said it was his grandfather's name and had been in the family for a long time. Christopher Robin said, "You couldn't be called Trespassers W." And Piglet said, "Yes, you could, because his grandfather was. And it was short for Trespassers Will, which was short for Trespassers William. And his grandfather had had two names in case he lost one. Trespassers after an uncle, and William after Trespassers. One fine winter's day, when Piglet was brushing away the snow in front of his house, he happened to look up, and there was Winnie-the-Pooh. Pooh was walking round and round in a circle, thinking of something else, and when Piglet called to him, he just went on walking.
Hello, what are you doing?
Hunting,
Hunting what?
tracking something.
Tracking what?
That's just what I ask myself. I ask myself, what?
What do you think you'll answer?
I shall have to wait until I catch up with it. Now, look here, what do you see?
Tracks. Oh, paw marks. Oh, Pooh, do you think it is, a woozle?
It may be. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. You never can tell with paw marks.
What's the matter?
It's a curious thing, but there seem to be two animals now. This, whatever it was, has been joined by another, whatever it is, and the pair are proceeding in company. Would you care to join me, Piglet, in case they turn out to be hostile animals?
I have nothing to do until Friday.
So off they went together. There was a small spinney of larch trees just here, and it seemed as if the two woozles, if that is what they were, had been going round the spinney. So round this spinney went Pooh and Piglet after them. Piglet passing the time by telling Pooh what his grandfather Trespassers W had done to remove stiffness after tracking, and how his grandfather Trespassers W had suffered in his later years from shortness of breath and other matters of interest. And Pooh, wondering what a grandfather was, and if perhaps this was two grandfathers they were after now, and if so, whether he would be allowed to take one home and keep it, and what Christopher Robin would say. And still, the tracks went on in front of them.
Look,
What?
more tracks. A third animal has joined them.
Pooh? Think it's another woozle?
No, because it makes different marks. It is either two woozles and one as it might be Whizzle, or two as it might be Whizzles and one, if so it is Woozle. Let's keep following them.
So they went on, feeling just a little anxious now in case the three animals in front of them were of hostile intent. And Piglet wished very much that his grandfather T.W. were there instead of elsewhere. And Pooh thought how nice it would be if they met Christopher Robin suddenly, but quite accidentally, and only because he liked Christopher Robin so much. And then, all of a sudden, Winnie-the-Pooh stopped again and licked the tip of his nose in a cooling manner, for he was feeling more hot and anxious than ever in his life before. There were 4 animals in front of them.
Look, Piglet, do you see the tracks? 3 as it were woozles and 1, if so it is Whizzle. Another woozle has joined them.
I think I've just remembered something. I have just remembered something that I forgot to do yesterday, shan't be able to do tomorrow, so I suppose I really ought to go back and do it now.
We'll do it this afternoon and come back later.
It isn't the sort of thing you can do in the afternoon. It's a very particular morning thing that has to be done in the morning, and if possible, between the hours of... What would you say the time was?
About 12.
Between, as I was saying, the hours of 12 and 12:05, so really, Bill, if you'll excuse me. What's that?
It's Christopher Robin.
Ah, then you'll be all right. You'll be quite safe with him. Goodbye.
Silly old bear, what were you doing? First, you went around the spinney twice by yourself, and then Piglet ran after you, and then you just went around the fourth time.
Wait. And then Piglet. Yes, I see now. I've been deluded and foolish, and I'm a bear of no brain at all.
You're the best bear in the whole world.
Am I? Anyhow, it is nearly lunchtime.
The old grey donkey Eeyore stood by himself in a thistly corner of the forest, his front feet well apart, his head on one side, and thought about things. Sometimes he thought sadly to himself, why? And sometimes he thought, wherefore? And sometimes he thought, inasmuch as which? And sometimes he didn't quite know what he was thinking about.
You do.
And how are you, Eeyore?
I haven't filled it all out in a very long time.
Oh, dear, I'm sorry to hear that. Let's have a look at you. Why, what's happened to your tail?
What has happened to it?
It isn't there. Nothing. Well, either a tail is there or isn't there. You can't make a mistake about that, and yours isn't there.
Let's have a look. I suppose you're right.
Of course I'm right.
That accounts for a good deal. Explains everything. No wonder.
You must have left it somewhere.
Somebody must have taken it. I like him.
Eeyore, I, Winnie-the-Pooh, will find your tail for you.
Thank you, Winnie-the-Pooh. You're a real friend, unlike some.
So Winnie-the-Pooh went off to find Eeyore's tail. It was a fine spring morning in the forest as he started out. Little soft clouds played happily in a blue sky, skipping from time to time in front of the sun as if they'd come to put it out, and then sliding away suddenly so that the next might have his turn. Through them and between them, the sun shone bravely. Through copse and spinney marched Bear. Down open slopes of gorse and heather, over rocky beds of streams, up steep banks of sandstone, into the heather again, and so at last, tired and hungry, to the 100-acre wood. For it was in the 100-acre wood that Owl lived. Owl lived at the chestnuts, an old world residence of great charm, which was grander than anybody else's, or seemed so to pair, because it had both a knocker and a bell pull. Underneath the knocker there was a notice which said, "Please ring if an answer is required." Under the bell pull there was a notice which said, "Please knock if an answer is not required." These notices had been written by Christopher Robin, who was the only one in the forest who could spell. For Owl, wise though he was in many ways, able to read and write and spell his own name, yet somehow went all to pieces over delicate words like measles and buttered toast.
Owl, I require an answer. It's Bear speaking.
Hello, Pooh. How's things?
Terrible and sad, because Eeyore, who is a dear friend of mine, has lost his tail, and he's moping about it. So could you kindly tell me how to find it for him?
Well, it's customary procedure in such cases.
What does Crystal Money Proceed Cake mean? I'm a bear of very little brain, and long words bother me.
It means the thing to do.
As long as it means that, I don't mind.
The thing to do is as follows. First, issue a reward.
Just a moment. What were you about to say? You sneezed just as you were about to say it.
I didn't sneeze.
Yes, you did, Owl.
Excuse me, Pooh, I didn't. You can't sneeze without knowing it.
Well, you can't know it without something having been sneezed.
What I said was first, issue a reward.
You're doing it again.
A reward. We write something that says we'll give a large something to anybody who finds Eeyore's tail.
I see. Speaking of large somethings, I usually have a small something about this time. Perhaps a mouthful of condensed
We
milk.
write a notice and we put it up all over the forest.
Or not, as the case may be.
It was he who wrote the ones on my front door for me. Did you see them, Pooh? Come, look at them now. Handsome bell rope, isn't it?
That bell rope reminds me of something, but I'm not sure what. Where did you find it?
I came across it in the forest. It was hanging over a bush, and I thought at first somebody lived there. So I rang it, and nothing happened. So then I rang it again, very loudly, and it came off in my hand, and as nobody said it, I took it home and...
Owl, you made a mistake. Somebody did want it. Ooh. Eeyore, my dear friend Eeyore. He was fond of it.
Fond of it?
Attached to it.
So with these words he unhooked it and carried it back to Eeyore. And when Christopher Robin had nailed it on its right place again, Eeyore frisked about the forest waving his tail so happily that Winnie-the-Pooh came over all funny and had to hurry home for a little snack of something to sustain him. And wiping his mouth half an hour afterwards, he's saying to himself proudly,
Who found the tail? I said Pooh at 1:45, though it was closer to 11, really. I found the tail.
that's what it is.